notwithstanding what may happen tonight, and I understand everything that happened last week, and he had a lot of miscues, if you want to use that word. What's really going to be the telltale sign is when it gets to New York. Like, everything leading up to this point is just a preliminary to, you'll find out whether he's done. If New York turns on him, if the eastern states turn on him, then it's over. But until now, this is just a lead up.
But even if he gets the popular vote, he won't have the delegates. And I think that Ted Cruz is on saying on purpose to Kasich to leave, so he can negotiate a deal with them. But I don't think Kasich. I don't think Ted Cruz really wants Kasich to leave, because Kasich still, whether he picks up a delegate here and there, that's the one. Like Donald Trump, they're going to stick to the wall, balls to the wall on the rule of the 1,200 plus delegates that he's going to need to win, the leadership of the Republican Party. I think that Kasich's being very smart, because he is being a hemorrhoid to Donald Trump. I mean, he's way far in third place. Cruz is going to win Wisconsin, guaranteed.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's any. If the polls are accurate, but. The polls have been wrong before, but not to this extent. I just think when you know nothing about abortion and you try to answer it knowing you know nothing, you should never even have considered being the president of the United States. He let me down, and who am I? I liked him. I thought he was fun. I thought he had everybody against him, and he could make it through. He could have, had he prepared himself one iota. He did not.
Well, let me tell you something, Billy. I'll tell you why you support him. Because you love the underdog, and you hate bullshit, and you hate politicians. So you felt that he was a very refreshing choice. Well, let me put it a different way. Donald Trump fooled himself. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. He thought that he could do what he's done all his life, bullshit, say half-truths, and get away with it. Well, you can't fucking do it when you're running for the presidency of the most powerful nation in the world, which the United States of America is a catalyst for foreign policy, for policy in every country in the world. And here's my problem. He fucking stuck his foot in his mouth this morning and last night, where he was saying, he was walking around and he's pushing hard. He doesn't want to lose Wisconsin. And he's saying, I'm gonna annihilate Obamacare. We're gonna have a better package. We're gonna have a better medical plan. It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the top. I promise you, it'll be way better than Obama. So a journalist says, okay, fair enough. What is the plan? Is there any document? Is there any fucking script? Is there anything that you've done to prove that this is not another bag of fucking wind? I'm paraphrasing, because that's not what he said. And he dug himself deeper and deeper. This guy did not do his homework. He did not study for the test. He thought that he was going to blow wind up people's ass. Now, at the beginning, he was charming, he was funny, and actually, to me, he was obnoxious, but his obnoxious works for his character, and it didn't work for Rubio. So it works for Donald Trump, and it's not irritating or annoying like it was with Rubio when he did a full 45-degree turn in his personality. I think Donald Trump is in over his head. I think CNBC nailed him right to the cross, because that's the way the journalist is. Pushed him and pressured him because he already knew that he was ill-prepared. And I can't see anybody having faith in this man to run. I've not fucking heard one answer. Okay, what are you going to do with the military? I'm going to get the best generals. I've talked to generals. I'm going to give them the best plan. I'm going to give them the best support. The generals love me. Well, who are these generals? And then he popped off a few names, and when they double-checked the facts, nobody spoke to him. Nobody talked to him. So, how can you put your faith, or me, even myself as a Canadian, which we are very dependent on the United States. They're our big cousins. And I do a lot of business in the United States. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm terrified of Donald Trump. In the way I think and the way I see this man's political views. And maybe Ted Cruz is evil too, but at least he's knowledgeable, and I'll put more faith in Ted Cruz than I do in Donald Trump.
I don't think that's an overreach at all. I think Cruz is the brightest guy on the dais up there. On the other hand, Perry's point's well made. New York is big. But my point is that if Trump wins tonight, it's no contest. If the people are willing to overlook his lack of preparation, his innate stupidity, and still vote for him, he's got some magic that we cannot detect.
He's got a great magic because he brought out all the Archie Bunkers to vote for him. Have you seen some of the people that what they're talking and how they're talking about him? You know, there's a lot of and he's a very bright guy. He's throwing the wood on the fire. Like, look, I got bikers here. Look at these great guys. These guys are great. These bikers are great. These are guys. Guys. And they know they don't take no guff. They don't take no crap. These are guys. Fuck, come on, Donald Trump. You're running for presidency, and it doesn't matter who the fuck's voting for you, whether it's white supremacists, whether it's bikers, whether it's criminals, whatever. And then you're talking that you talk the good line. Here's my view on this, guys. I am so sucked into this election, and Perry was right the last 2 or 3 shows ago. He said it. At least Donald Trump's made it very exciting. But here's my thing. I don't think he'll get the delegates in New York. New York is very, 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 very has a very strong Republican hold, but it has been traditionally a Democratic state. So that's why Hillary was successful in winning that as a politician. And I think she's very strong in New York. And I don't think that the Republicans that are there the delegates that make things count will give it to Donald Trump. I think he's made a lot of enemies, and I believe
you could very well be right, but you can't bury him until New York has been declared, and that doesn't make him any more than what he is right now, an ill-prepared, profoundly stupid man. I mean, to go on that interview with that hot dog Chris somebody who put him in a corner, and he did not know what to do. That's what wind his wrist.
Does. I can't remember his last name, but you nailed it. He's a hot dog, and that's what he does. He puts people in a corner, and if you're not prepared, he's gonna fucking eat you alive. That's what 60 Minutes do. You know, these guys are prepared when they go in, and they ask you the big question, and you better have a fucking proper answer, and you better be well versed, or you're gonna look like a moron.
And they know right away if they've got you. I mean, you could see Trump falling back. He was taking 1 step sideways and 2 steps back. He was never going to get an answer that made any sense.
Yeah, but you know what bothers me, Perry, and even if it was ear prepared, and I don't know who the fuck in the world can be possibly prepared for the abortion topic. It's very touchy. It's very horrific. But bottom line, at the end of the day, for me, a woman has a choice. It's her body. It's her body, and a woman has a choice. There has to be some legality of when abortions are legal and when they're illegal, right? When the baby forms to a certain point, I believe it's illegal, and everybody. But what I'm trying to tell you is, when he gets pressed, what he should have said. Here's my problem with him. Even though he was not prepared for one of the hottest topics in the world, and they nailed him on that, and they fucking, you know, that was premeditated campaign murder on the part of CNBC. Well, if I was him, he's a bright guy. He tells everybody he's an Ivy Leaguer, and he knows big words, and he's very smart, and he's got a big fucking brain. I mean, some of the shit that comes out of his mouth is mind-boggling. What he should have said is, abortion's a very hot topic. I don't think a woman should be punished if she has an abortion because she's already punishing herself. I can't even imagine what she's going through, but they have a right. But if a doctor breaks the rules, it's a doctor who should, you know, and there's a law and it's against the law, then the doctor's the one that should pay the penalty. That's it. That's it. Frank, shut the fucking guy up. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right, but all you had to do was, I can't make that decision. I must defer to the lawmakers of the land. What's your next...
That would have even been a better answer. That would have been even a much smarter answer. But you know, he seems to change his mind from the beginning of the topic to the end of the topic. You know, and here's the other thing that's mind-boggling. I mean, his whole campaign, his campaign manager, they lied through their fucking teeth about the journalist, and it's there. It's in black and white. There's a million. You go frame by frame. You go backwards. You go frontwards. It's right there. It's right there. Why would you fucking put yourself in that position? Especially the campaign manager who has a history of being a little arrogant and a history of getting himself in trouble with his temper. Why would you fucking not bite the bullet and say, well, I'm sorry, I didn't even realize that that's what happened, but if that's what happened, I apologize. It was not my intention to use any kind of force. It was a crowd. It was a long day. I didn't even realize who it was, and I want to apologize. And it ends there. And I don't think she would have went to the level she went with this and had the guy charged. Now, he made it worse. I think he exacerbated the situation when he was on CNN, on the town hall. You know, he talked like a fucking bully. Perry, what do you think? You've interviewed a ton of people.
I think
you understand people's emotions, and you base some of your questions and the rhythm of your interview based on the emotion of the person you're interviewing. What do you think?
I think when you go into an area of abortion, which is a very complex topic, particularly because of the fact you're talking about Republicans, there's some people that do believe very strongly against abortion. He went into an area where he thought he could get away with it. He was caught. He made a very egregious mistake in terms of what you say and what you don't say. But I'll go back to what I said 2 weeks ago, what I just said 10 minutes ago. This is all leading up to New York. It's all going to be decided there. It's like 10 days from now. It'll all be decided once and for all.